Myself, Dr. Hanuman Prasad. I am working as an assistant professor in the Department of Chemistry at Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, IARE. Dundigal. The topic I am discussing in today's session belongs to Module 2, Gender and Biology. And the topic in this module I am going to discuss in this session is Missing Women and Consequences. And the contents I am going to discuss in this topic are: what is missing women? What are the causes of missing women? And what is prenatal diagnostic techniques, abbreviated as PNDT Act 1994. Socio-cultural background, female feticide or infanticide. Finally, attitudes towards women's health. So these are the contents I am going to discuss in Module 2, Gender and Biology, and the topic name is Missing Women and Consequences. Let's discuss each and every content in detail. The first content is: what is missing women? What does the term missing women correspond to? The term missing women indicates a shortfall in the number of women relative to the expected number of women in a region or country. So as the term indicates, missing women means it is not that women are missing, women are kidnapping, it's not that. It means that there is a shortfall in the number of women relative to the expected number of women in a particular region or country or any place. Okay? So we expect some number of women in the particular region, but there are no such number of women. There is a shortfall in the number. Then we use missing women. So the term missing women indicates a shortfall in the number of women relative to the expected number of women in a particular region or country. It is most often measured through male to female sex ratios. So how do you measure missing women? Through male to female sex ratios. So by using male to female sex ratios, one can identify or one can decide missing women is there in that particular region. Okay. For example, male to female sex ratio must be 1000:950, let's say. But the actual ratio is 1000:900. Means for every 1000 male, 950 female should be there. But actually there are only 900 female out of 1000 male. Then we call it is missing women. Okay. So that is why a shortfall in the number of women relative to the expected number of women in a particular region or country corresponds to missing women. I hope the term missing women is clear to everyone. So let's continue. So it is measured through male to female sex ratio. It is theorized to be caused by sex-selective abortions, female infanticide, and inadequate health care and also nutrition for female children. If there are sex-selective abortions, means some people particularly want male only, some people do not want female. If female kid is there, then they go for abortion. In the olden days, but nowadays people are preferring male kid and female kid equally. So in this aspect, gender sensitization is achieved. But there are many aspects where gender sensitization is not achieved. So it is caused by sex-selective abortions, female infanticide. Infanticide means for female infants, if you give some chemical or substance which can kill the female infant. So how rude it is, how bad it is. So in the olden days, people used to do that. If they found it is female kid, then they used to give some chemical which is infanticide. So they will be dead by that chemical. So very, very bad situation in the olden days. So this is also one of the reasons for missing women that anyway I will discuss in a separate content. Inadequate health care. So if proper health is not taken care for the female children especially, then also female population will go on diminishing, then the missing woman term will be erased. And also nutrition. If proper nutrition is not provided, especially for female children, then female children number will decrease. Okay, so missing woman concept will arise. So these are the causes. These things I will discuss again. It is argued that technologies that enable prenatal sex selection, which have been commercially available since 1970s, are a large impetus are missing female children. Okay, so what we are emphasizing in this sentence is argued that technologies that enable prenatal sex selection, which have been commercially available since 1970s, means by some technologies they can identify whether the kid is male or female. So then prenatal sex selection, then they will go for the choice. If they want, then they will continue. Otherwise, they will take abortions. They will go for abortion. So that is available since 1970s. Then this is a large impetus or missing female children. This is the cause. So the prenatal sex selection technique is a cause for missing women. And this is available in 1970s itself, but this technique was a little costly. So there is a poor people could not afford this technique, but rich people used to afford this technique and they used to give female infanticide to kill them. So how bad situation it was. So nowadays it was vanished. Now both are given equal priority, both male kid and female kid. Thank God. So let's go to the next content. What is missing woman? The continuation. This phenomenon was first noted by the Indian Nobel Prize winning economist Amartya Sen in an essay in the New York Review of Books that is published in 1990. In this New York Review of Books, which was published in 1990, so there was an essay in which the Nobel Prize winning economist Amartya Sen, so he was an economist, he won the Nobel Prize. He first noted this phenomenon, missing women is arising everywhere, every region, every country. So that is why maybe slowly awareness was spread out. So people are giving equal priority to both the kids. So this was first identified by the Nobel Prize winning economist named Amartya Sen. And various international measures have been instituted to combat the problem of missing women. So there were several institutional measures to combat and to fight this issue of missing women. To bring awareness to the problem of missing women. So they tried to bring awareness, not to kill or not to go for abortion when female kid is there in the womb. And the OECD measures the number of missing women through the sun preference parameter in its SIGI index. So there were some sun preference index. So and there are some OECD measures where we can find the index of missing women, how much missing women is there in that particular region. So to bring awareness about this problem or issue of missing women, OECD measures the number of missing women through the sun preference. Those whoever are giving preference for the male kid or son, then in that particular region there is a concept of missing women. So this awareness was given by OECD measures in SIGI index. So SIGI index indicates son preference, not daughter preference. Son preference, daughter ignorance. So that is what SIGI index indicates. Okay. And let's see the next content. What are the causes of missing women? That I have already briefed in the previous slides, but in this slide I will little bit expand that words. The first cause of missing women is sex-selective abortions. As I discussed, in so many places in the olden days, so they prefer male kid only. They won't prefer female kids. Then if they know that the kid in the womb is female, then they go for abortion. They think that they have to get married and they have to give dowry to her. And there are a lot of things in the olden days. So they have to face all these issues. They have to come across all these issues. So due to the problems, poor people could not face these issues. But still, poor people could afford. But rich people especially, so they think that they think several reasons. So if female kid was there, then after marriage, the nephew may ask a share in the property. So rich people are completely different. Their mindset was completely not acceptable. But nowadays it is changed. But in the olden days, this concept was there. So this is the major problem. That is sex-selective abortions. That means preference to son and ignorance to daughter. So this is a very bad situation in the olden days. And this was overcome in the current era. The second reason of missing women, or the second cause of missing women, is female infanticide. Means female infant, means female kid. If they identified that the born baby is kid, the born kid is female, then they go for kill the baby if it is female. Then they give some chemical which is called infanticide. So by which the female kid can be dead. So it's a very worse situation. So those who could not afford the female kid, means they think that they have to give dowry to her and they have to grow from childhood to certain age. Then after that they have to send to some other new home. So for that they have to give dowry. So they used to think all these things and they used to do go for female infanticide. So very very worse situation in the olden days. But nowadays, as I said, this issue is overcome. So in this particular issue, the gender sensitization is achieved, that we can say for sure. And the third cause of missing women is inadequate healthcare. Means if healthcare is not proper, if health is not properly taken care, especially for female kid. For male kid, they used to do a lot of feeding, they used to take care of health properly. But in case of female kid, if they don't take proper health care, so female are a little bit, we can say, weak and stronger than men also. But in the initial moment, they are a little bit weak. But at that time, if you didn't give proper healthcare techniques or proper healthcare, what you can say, diet, so what will happen? Then they will diminish. So it is very very important to take care of health, especially for female kid in the initial stage. So nowadays people are giving preference to both male kid and female kid equally, as I said. So inadequate health care is one of the causes of missing women. So in the current era, this issue was overcome. So the final cause of missing women that I have discussed, that I am discussing in this content, is nutrition. As I said, nutrition is not properly maintained. Proper nutrients are not maintained, especially for female kid again. Then male kid will take proper nutrition and he will grow up and he will become strong. But as I said, for female kid, in the initial stage, in the weak stage, proper nutrition must be given, without which the female kid could not survive. So the nutrition is very very crucial to support the health or to support the survival of the female kid. And this is the major issue in the olden days for especially poor people. For rich people, this was not an issue, but they will think in a narrow way. So after marriage, they have to send to some other home. The nephew may ask a share in the property. That is what is their thinking ideology. So it is the one of causes of missing women. So this is also achieved nowadays. Both the kids are giving proper nutritions, and by both poor and rich people. Okay, so this issue is also overcome. So all the causes of missing women are overcome in the current era. So that is why, as I said, in the current era, in terms of missing women, the gender sensitization is achieved. Okay, so let's go to the next content. What are the causes of missing women? Let's continue. The concept of missing women with reference to discriminatory practices. It is observed that a large percentage of missing women in China are located before birth and infancy. So as you know that China is the most populated country. So there the large percentage of missing women was observed, which was before birth or before infancy. So before birth itself, they used to either go for abortion or either go for infanticide. So that is how the large percentage of missing women in the most populated country, China, was observed. And whereas in sub-Saharan Africa, missing women are spread over the entire age spectrum. So in Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, the missing woman is not only for kids, not only for female kids, but also for the adult women. So this concept is spread over the entire age spectrum. Which concept? Missing woman concept, especially in Africa. In China, it was before birth or before infancy, by using infanticide or sex-selective abortions. And in sub-Saharan Africa, this concept is spread over all the ages, entire age spectrum. So that is what is according to the data. And in India, on the other hand, the main cause of excess female deaths is cardiovascular disease. So the main cause of female deaths in India is especially cardiovascular disease, which is related to heart. So that may be by heredity, mostly by heredity. So most of the people not maintain the. So there was so many people with probability of heart attack. So their kids, their heredity will also get the same problem because it is a hereditary disease. So this is the main cause in India, cardiovascular disease. So in the olden days it was more, but in the olden days it is less actually, because the olden days people are good and people used to maintain good health. But in the current era, some places it is more, in some places the cardiovascular diseases are less. Especially amongst older female population, which outstrips missing females at birth. So in India, the main cause of excess female death or missing women is cardiovascular disease, especially amongst older female population. Okay. So this is the data in most populated country China and sub-Saharan Africa and in our country India. Okay. Let's go to the next content. Prenatal diagnostic techniques, which is abbreviated as PNDT Act. This is an act which was issued in 1994, the year 1994. To stop the abuse of advanced scientific techniques for sex selective elimination or selective elimination of female fetuses through sex determination, the government of India passed PNDT Act, Prenatal, it is PNDT, Prenatal Diagnostic Techniques Act in 1994. So what this act passed? So the government of India passed the Prenatal Diagnostic Techniques Act. So they do not allow the kid, whether the future born kid is male or female. They do not allow to diagnostic this technique. This diagnostic technique was not allowed. So this PNDT Act was issued in 1994, especially to stop the sex selective abortions or to stop the abuse of advanced scientific techniques for selective elimination of female fetuses. Okay, so the PNDT Act or Prenatal Diagnostic Techniques Act, which is especially to stop the sex selective abortions. Okay, by knowing the forthcoming kid is whether male or female. So to stop that, this act was issued or passed by Government of India in 1994. So that is the main purpose of this PNDT Act. But the techno dogs and the parents' desire of begetting only sons have subverted the act. But so many people, those who want, the parents who want especially sons, means son priority, daughter ignorance. Those who are in that concept, they supported the act, means they didn't support the act. So they have gone against the act. So they used to give more amount of money to the doctors, and by seeing that much amount, the doctors were also committed. Okay, so secretly they used to take the diagnostic test, and they used to tell them it is female or male kid. And if it is male, they used to continue. If it is female, they used to go for abortion. So you know that this can be done by only rich people. So that is why, as I said, this issue was mainly by rich people, because poor people could not afford this technique. This was costly, and if it is done secretly, then it needs more economic condition, right? So that is why, as I said, it is connected with money. Okay. So some parents who are desirous of begetting only sons, son preference, daughter ignorance, they subverted this act. Okay. So means after the act was passed in 1994 also, so many people who can afford this technique have gone against this act. And PNDTs are part of new productive technologies. This can be abbreviated as NRTs. N for new, P for productive, and T for technologies. Based on principle of selection of the desired and rejection of the unwanted. So it is based on the selection of the desired, means you can say male, and rejection of the unwanted, that you can say female. So according to them, it was the scenario. Selection of the desired means son preference, and rejection of the unwanted means daughter ignorance. So these are part of new reproductive technologies. Okay. So this is based on son preference and daughter ignorance. Okay. So even though PNDT Act was passed in 1994, so many rich people have, those who are giving son priority and daughter ignorance, have subverted this act. Okay. And these are part of new productive technologies. Okay. Based on this principle. Selection of the desired and rejection of the unwanted. Okay. Let's go to the next slide. Socio-cultural background. The propertied classes means rich classes, rich people, do not desire daughter or daughters because after marriage of the daughter, the son-in-law or nephew may demand share in property. As I said, the rich people have narrow mindset in the olden days, especially in the olden days. Now it is overcome because they got awareness. So in the olden days, they do not desire daughters, especially because after marriage of her, the son-in-law may demand the share in property. And the propertyless classes, so here property classes means rich families. And propertyless classes means poor families. dispose of daughters. So what they do after the birth of female kid, if they know it is female kid, then they dispose of by giving infanticide or something. Okay, they dispose of daughters when they could not afford, to avoid dowry harassment. Okay, to avoid dowry harassment, but they don't mind accepting dowry for their sons. So this is a contradiction. So to avoid dowry harassment for female daughters, they can go for disposing the female kids by giving infanticide, but they don't mind accepting dowry for their sons. So even though they are poor people, they are also narrow-minded. So they accept dowry for their sons, but they feel it is harassment for their female. So if they are really ideal, they should not take dowry or they should not give dowry. Then they can fight this issue. So many such people were there, and nowadays also so many such people were there. So especially in this case, this is yet to be achieved. Okay. So rich families are propertied classes. They don't want female kids because after marriage of her, the son-in-law may demand share in the property. And poor families do not want daughters because to avoid dowry harassment. This is the issue. They don't want daughters, poor families. And the birth of a son is perceived as an opportunity for upward mobility. And in the olden days, birth of a son is treated as opportunity for upward mobility, means going forward. So, which they will think as going forward? Birth of a son. But the birth of a daughter is believed to result in downward economic mobility. In the olden days, they will think that birth of a daughter results in downward economic mobility. Means they decay in the economic condition. They will go down. Like that they will think. So in the olden days, the birth of a son is treated as opportunity for upward mobility going forward. But the birth of a daughter is treated as downward economic mobility. Means going down. So like that they used to believe. But nowadays, the awareness was achieved. The awareness was spread over all people, and they are believing that both female kid and male kid are equally to go upward in the society or in the coming era. Okay, so this is achieved. Both are given equal priority. Okay, but in the olden days, birth of son is treated as upward mobility, whereas birth of daughter is treated as downward economic condition and mobility. Okay, so this is achieved now due to awareness, and through stronghold of this ideology was in the North India especially. It is increasingly gaining ground all over India. Slowly at the time, it is increasingly gaining ground all over the India at that time. So that is why so many abortions were happened in the 10 years back, 1 decade back. But as I said, nowadays female kid they will treat as Mahalakshmi. They will treat that, so our economic condition will be much more better than the previous. So the awareness was spread over, and the gender sensitization that both male and female are given equal priority in this issue. Okay, so let's move on to the next content. Female feticide or infanticide. In several states of India, especially Maharashtra, Gujarat, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana, and Tamil Nadu. Sex-selective abortions of female fetuses have increased among those who want small families of 1 or 2 or maximum 3 children. Okay, So especially in these states, there was sex selective abortions of female fetuses. Okay, so especially those who want one or two or maximum three children. Okay, so what are the states? Maharashtra, Gujarat, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, and Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana, Tamil Nadu, and in fact in Himachal Pradesh also. So especially in these states, those who want one or two or maximum three children is to go for sex selective abortion of female fetuses. And communities which were practicing female infanticide started using sex selective abortions. Okay, so some communities started using female infanticide. So they started using sex selective abortions. Okay, instead of killing by giving some chemical, they used to go for abortion in the olden days. This is all in the olden days. Okay, so these are all the causes and consequences of missing women. Okay, this is especially the topic of missing women and consequences, and the content is female feticide and infanticide, especially in these states that I have mentioned. And the next content is attitudes towards women's health. What are the attitudes towards women's health? Social discrimination against women results into systematic neglect of women's health. Okay, social discrimination that male are little bit more prayered, whereas female are less prayered. So those who have that kind of discrimination in the society, they used to go for the against women. So this results into systematic neglect of women's health from womb to tomb. See how beautifully it is framed in the sentence. Womb to tomb means mother's stomach to tomb. That is the final stage of person. Tomb means at the end, after death, they used to bury in a tomb, right? That is called tomb. So this was about social discrimination against women. So this results into this kind of neglect of women's health from womb to tomb. And this was also in the olden days. In the current era, this was not there. This issue was overcome. And female infanticide and female feticide are widely practiced in the states that I have already mentioned: Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and Uttar Pradesh. Okay, female feticides and female infanticides are practiced widely in these states, and also in Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, and Gujarat that I have already mentioned. So these are the states, especially those shown attitudes, negative attitude towards women health by showing social discrimination. Okay, so these are the some of the consequences and some of the causes of missing women. So we will continue this session in the second part. Now I will end this session here. The references that I followed are Gender Sensitization by Kadambari and Gender Sensitization by Rajalakshmi Kalyan. Thank you very much for all of your patience.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.